Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be doing a live swatch and review plus dupes and comparisons for the new fall OPI collection, which is called Fall Wonders. So we have like this sort of peaceful, centering, meditative kind of theme going on. It's not like super clear, but that's what the vibe is. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it because I have a lot to share with you today. We're going to be doing a live application, 2 coats of each polish on my nails plus a full hand swatch, and at the end I have a dupe or comparison for every polish in this collection. So we need to get right into it. I did purchase this collection from polishpick.com. I will put that link in the description bar below. We're going to get right into it and then we will chat about it, and I'll see you back then. All right, so we're starting with Brown to Earth. So we're going to be going through this 12-piece collection in alphabetical order. I will be doing 2 coats of everything on my natural nails, and then I'll show you a full hand swatch. And if you're interested in the dupes and comparisons, we will be doing that at the end of the video. So this, as you can see, is a beautiful 1 coat on the cool side of brown, like deep, almost black brown. Really, really beautiful. Now, up to you, whether you like wearing this kind of shade or if you just rather wear a black. On me, it pretty much almost just looked like I was wearing a black polish, but gorgeous application. Cave the Way is the next shade. This is basically a black jelly filled with a couple different shimmers. One's a silver shimmer that's making this polish go like a little bit more over towards like a graphite kind of look. And then there's also that twinklier blue shimmer in there, which looks really lovely up close and while this polish is wet. But once it dries down, unfortunately, you can't really see that very well at all, even after I applied top coat. You can see it when you look up close, but from far away, it just kind of looks like you're wearing a gray, a very dark gray sparkly polish. Next, we have Claydreaming. This one is a really yummy, raisiny mauve kind of shade. It has some plum in there, has some brown. It's really, really nice. It swatches beautifully. All the polishes in here were really easy to apply with the exception of maybe like 2 or 3, which were, maybe a little bit on the runny side. But for the most part, everything swatches and paints on so nicely. If you really love this kind of muted, plummy, almost tan color, you're going to really like Claydreaming. Clean Slate was one of my least favorite polishes in the collection. It is a pearly finish. That just means it has a very, very fine shimmer, and this one was one of my least favorite on application. I kind of overloaded my brush trying to apply in the same manner that I was applying the rest of the shade, so I just had to take a little bit more care with this polish. As you can see, you're getting some nice opacity in 2 coats. This one just wasn't for me. Next, we have Mica Be Dreaming, and this one is very lovely. This has a romantic gold shimmer, and it has some larger particles in there that are more like going gold to bronze. They are definitely on the micro flaky size, so they're just going to kind of speckle out just a little bit, making this polish a little something special rather than just a plain metallic. It's not the most glorious gold, that I have, but I did think in this collection it was kind of special. This is 2 coats. I did try this as a topper too. It has more coverage, I think, than you'd want as a topper. This next purple is a violet shade called Medi-take It All In. It's not like a ultra bright violet, but as you can see, it is on the bright side. They do have a kind of almost neon looking violet in their collection that I compared this to, and so this is kind of like medium brightness level, and I do have a few things to compare this polish to coming up in the dupes and comparisons section. As you can see, look at that beautiful 2-coat application. If you don't already have a lot of purples like this, you're going to really, really like that shade. Midnight Mantra is this beautiful navy, and it has a teal undertone. This one is gorgeous. As with the rest of the polishes in this collection, I do have some things to share with you in comparison if you might want to pull them out of your stash that perhaps you already have. I also tested this one for staining. It did not stain me. It is highly pigmented, so it will try to like bounce up into your cuticles and maybe stick around. But as for staining your nail bed, I did not have issues with that, and I did not wear a base coat when I was doing this live swatch, and just look how perfect that looks in 2 coats. Really, really liked Midnight Mantra. You decide if you have a shade that looks like that already. Ochre the Moon is this really interesting mustard with a green lean. I don't have anything exactly like this from OPI. I do have some things to share with you that are similar though. This has a beautiful 1 to 2 coat application. It's so, so nice. Everything, well, like I said before, almost everything in this collection just swatches so nicely and beautifully. Is this a color that you're going to want to wear all fall 2022? I will be very interested to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So that's Ochre the Moon, definitely the most different shade in the collection. Peace of Mind is what's been on my thumb for this video, and it's one of my faves out of the collection. This is this gorgeous grayish color with a tiny bit of a purple tint. This one has the squishiest formula out of the whole collection. It's much more of a crelly than a cream shade, which you can see. That did not deter me from loving this polish. It looks so beautiful in 2 coats. It doesn't have to be a perfectly firm OPI cream shade for me to love it. I think it looks so beautiful on. So really, really loved Peace of Mind. Just kind of encapsulates, I think, what this collection is supposed to make you feel. Red-veal Your Truth is a beautiful, almost classic red. This is a little bit more pinky leaning than the rest of, well, not the rest of. I do have some basically dupes for you here from OPI's collection, of course, with a basic crelly red formula, crelly to jelly. But as far as if you're comparing it to like a basic classic red, it's a little bit more pink leaning. So it is really, really beautiful on, incredibly flattering, but likely that you do have a shade already like this in your collection. Those chances are really high, so you know, you decide. Next we have Rust and Relaxation, and this one is basically another red. It's an orange and it's a red. You decide if it looks like orange on you or if it looks red. Whether you want to call this a red or an orange, it has an absolutely perfect formula, and just look at that. Just so easily apply itself. So I'm going to just call this a red-orange. On some days, maybe what you're wearing is going to basically make this look like an almost classic fiery red. So just beautiful. Here's how it looks on me in 2 coats. Everything is just 2 coats here. I didn't have to do 3 coats on anything. The final polish in the collection is another pearl shade. This is Susie Takes a Sound Bath. If you really don't love pearl polish, but you want a color like this in your collection, I do have a great comparison for you coming up in the dupes and comparisons. So this is just kind of like a relaxed sky blue. I think they started with a nice bright blue, and then that pearly pigment that they added just kind of toned this down a little bit to give that relaxed vibes. For some of you, this may be right up your alley, but if you'd like, I have a great suggestion for you if you want a different formula. All right, guys, so we're going to kick off the dupe section of the video. So I have quite a few things to get through. Let's start with red. So as you know, OPI has a ton of classic reds. These are the 3 that are the most similar to Red-veal The Truth. It couldn't have too much white in it. It couldn't be too orange leaning, and also not too much of a jelly, not too thin. So Red-veal Your Truth. So we have Love Is in My Cards. We have Big Apple Red, and Adam said it's New Year's Eve. So there are some good choices for you. Next, we're going to move on to the orange in the collection, the Rust and Relaxation. This is such a red orange that you might actually even just call this a red. It's kind of right there on the border. So the most similar thing is Race Red. As you can see, those other 2 options that I have for you are a little bit more red leaning. So Viva OPI is also really similar, but just a touch more red. And then Art Walk and Susie's Shoes, is that the name of that one? That one is also similar, more of a jelly, but here's some great options for you. As far as the gold with the kind of bronze flakies, I Mica Be Dreaming. I don't have a dupe for you, The most similar thing is the shade Comet Closer. That is more of a yellowy, almost greeny gold. And then it has some flakies in it as well. No exact dupes, but if you were looking for something kind of similar already in your collection, that one might work for you. All right, and as far as the teal leaning dark navy, you can see it's the darkest shade I have picked out for you right there, Midnight Mantra. The closest thing is I saw, you saw, we saw, Warsaw is I think the long name of it. That is very, very close. Not quite as dark, but the most similar in shade. Then My Favorite Gal Pal is just a little bit even lighter than that. So those three are very similar. And then I also found another navy for you if you didn't want something that's teal leaning. Isn't it Grand Avenue is a gorgeous deep navy that doesn't lean teal if you want another option. All right, next let's talk about the gray with the pearly finish, Clean Slate. So here I have some other options for you. Obviously no dupes. So these are all lighter, but they do all have a pearly, very, very fine shimmer. So we have I Can Never Hut Up. That's 2 pearls in a pod, and I Want to Be a Lone Star if you are just particularly loving this formula and want more options. As far as one of my very favorite shades in the collection, the Peace of Mind, the closest thing that I found for it is Topeless Beach. It is really, really similar. It's just a little bit darker. And then I also wanted to pull out something that, because Peace of Mind does have some purple lean to it, so I wanted to pull you out like a light purple stone kind of shade that's like more obviously purple. So I'm Gown for Anything is a great option. All right, the super deep dark brown shade that is not yellow leaning. So I did have a lot of dark browns, but most of them were pulling to the yellow side of brown. So the most similar thing, it's very, very similar, is it's Top Secret. And then the other shade that I have there for you is Chronological Order, a little bit lighter. The shade has a little bit more red pull in it, and the Chrono just has more white. So there's some good options for you. All right, the most unique shade in the collection, the ochre shade, is basically just a mustard with a little bit more of a green pull than maybe your other mustards. So we have Ochre the Moon. I wanted to show you how it compares to just like a basic mustard, such as Never a Dullest Moment. And so you can see that it's like a little deeper, it's a little grungier because of that green in there. And then it's also similar to Don't Talk Back to Me, which as you can see has more green in it. That also has a pearl shimmer. And then I just wanted to see how it compared to Did It On 'Em for fun. So there you have those comparisons. All right, we are on to the final swatch wheel. So we're going to start with this beautiful violet shade in the collection, and it is called Medi-take It All In. So I do have some very similar things, but in my OPI collection, not an exact dupe for this shade. You would probably find an exact dupe in like Zoya's line. They do a lot of colors like this. The most similar thing is I Manicure for Beads, and then also Violet Visionary. As you can see though, they're not exactly the same. Manicure has like a little bit more red in it. Violet's obviously deeper. And that very light shade is very similar, but it is on the thinner, lighter side. And so maybe if you were able to build it up a little bit better, it could be pretty close. That one's Grandma Kissed a Gaucho, but that one has like, my bottle is, the formula has gotten really, really saucy. So anyway, there's those comparisons. All right, next we're going to talk about the basically black shade with a little bit of blue twinkle in it called Cave the Way. So the polishes that I thought were really, really similar to this, I have pictured here, and they have a much better twinkle if you're looking for more of that blue effect. Each of those three that I showed next to Cave the Way doesn't have like obviously like a bright blue, but the little sparkle in there is blue leaning. So we have Cool Mates, To All a Good Night, and Danny and Sandy Forever. Those three polishes are so, so similar. But the blue shimmer kind of micro flaky in the Cave the Way polish from this collection just like doesn't even really show up, you guys. So it actually ends up looking more similar to Black Dress Not Optional, which is on the far end. So there you have those. You can see if maybe one of those would work for you. All All right, 2 more and then we're all done. So Susie Takes a Sound Bath is the beautiful bright blue that is kind of relaxed or mellowed out with this pearly shimmer. If you are not a fan of that pearly shimmer and want a similar color, the one that I have for you is hard for me to read. Super Tropicalifragistic is the one that's pretty close if you don't want to go for that pearl finish. All right, and very last up, another not dupeable shade within my personal collection from OPI. It's just different enough. This beautiful purpley mauve with a ton of brown in it. Things that I found were either too brown, too light, too purple. So You Don't Know Jacques is pretty similar if you want to rock that shade. And then another one that I pulled out is Tickle My Francie. The formula is so thin though, like I couldn't really build it up to anything too similar to the polish from this collection. This is Claydreaming, and it's one of my faves out of the collection. If you have an extensive Zoya collection, you probably have a dupe for this shade. I'm not going to take the time to show you all the similar things within different brands, but here's the most similar thing that I had from OPI, so you can tell the shades that I think in the collection are less dupeable and maybe more worth picking up. Alright guys, so that is Fall Wonders for OPI's Fall 2022 collection. What did you think about this collection? I have seen a mixed bag of feelings about this collection. I am a little bit more leaning towards thinking that I maybe have too many dupes for this collection and the colors maybe aren't exactly what I'm looking for. However, the formula for almost everything here is so easy to work with and so nice that if you're just new to your nail polish collecting journey, this whole collection might be a go for you. I am really looking forward to OPI's holiday collection. It looks like they're going to have some glitter and some shimmer and probably a lot of random formulas, maybe some we won't really like. If you're more into the creams, then this collection will be more up your alley than fall. Fall's a little bit more excitement and maybe some more chance for things that are like, what was happening here? But it looks like they're trying more interesting things, which I always like. So I'll be excited to swatch that collection with you in probably a month and a half or so. I don't know, we'll see how soon they get that out. But I hope that you found this video helpful. It helped you decide if you need a certain polish or if you can use something that you already have in your stash perhaps. If you did find it helpful, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. It helps my channel out a lot when you do those 2 things. I will see you back for another video very soon. Take care until then. Bye!